So if you're in crypto, let me tell you, the single most important thing you can do to protect your investment has nothing to do with picking the next hot coin. Nope, it's all about getting your assets offline. And in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to do that the right way. You've probably heard this phrase a million times, right? It's a classic from the early Bitcoin days. But it's so much more than just a catchy slogan. It is the absolute bedrock of security, and we're about to unpack exactly what it means. It all comes down to controlling your private keys. That's the secret password that proves you actually own your crypto.
So let me ask you this. When your crypto is just sitting on an exchange, who's really in control? The answer to this question, well, it gets to the very heart of why storing your crypto offline isn't just a good idea. It's completely non-negotiable for anyone who's serious about this stuff.
And that brings us right to the core problem with keeping your assets on a centralized platform. Let's talk about what I call the risk of IOU crypto. Okay, here's the thing you have to wrap your head around. When your crypto is on an exchange, you don't really own it. The exchange has the private keys. That means what you're holding is just a promise, an IOU from that company. And if they get hacked, or they go bankrupt, or they just decide to freeze your funds, guess what? You are completely at their mercy. And look, this isn't some theoretical what-if scenario. History is an absolute graveyard of failed exchanges. Analysts figure that over 3 million Bitcoin, 3 million, are just gone forever. Lost to hacks and company collapses. We're talking about fortunes that vanished, life savings that were just erased. That's the devastating price of trusting someone else with your keys. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On an exchange, they have ownership, they have control, which makes them this giant, juicy target for hackers. But with self-custody, that power dynamic completely flips. You hold the keys, you have total control, and your security, well, it's finally in your hands. Okay, so that's the scary part. But the good news is, there is a solution. There's a way to put the power and the responsibility squarely back where it belongs, with you. And this, right here, is our goal. Self-custody. It's simply the act of holding your own private keys. It's the only way to have true, undeniable ownership and absolute control over your assets. This is the whole reason we talk about moving crypto to offline or cold storage.
All right, so you're convinced. You're ready to take back control. Awesome. But how do you actually do it? Well, let's break down the main ways you can store your crypto offline. You know, it really boils down to these 3 pillars. You've got hardware wallets, air-gapped computers, and multisig vaults. Each one offers a different mix of security, convenience, and complexity. So we're going to dive into all 3 so you can figure out what's the right fit for you. For most people, honestly, this is the perfect place to start. A hardware wallet is basically a small device that does one job and one job only. It keeps your private keys completely offline. It's super user-friendly, it's very secure, and if you ever lose the device, recovery is simple using a secret backup phrase. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. It really is the go-to for a reason. And you know what? People are starting to wake up to this. Well, yeah, most users still keep their funds in less secure hot wallets that are connected to the internet. We're seeing this massive 30 to 34% jump year after year in people moving to cold storage. The trend is crystal clear. People are moving towards self-custody. Okay, so what if you're a little more tech-savvy? Or maybe you're securing a very large amount of crypto. The next level up is what's called an air-gapped computer. And an air gap is exactly what it sounds like. It's a physical separation between that computer and any network. We're talking no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, nothing, ever. So how does this even work? Well, it's a pretty clever 4-step dance. First, you create the transaction on your regular online computer. Then, you move that transaction file using an SD card or a QR code over to your offline machine. Step 3, you sign it securely on that offline machine. And finally, you move the now signed transaction back to the online computer to broadcast it to the network. Your keys never, ever touch the internet. And that brings us to the top of the mountain, the absolute gold standard of security, multisignature, or multisig for short. This is the kind of setup that businesses, family offices, and anyone securing generational wealth will use. And its whole purpose is to eliminate any single point of failure. So a really common setup is called a 2 of 3 vault. Here's how it works.
You create 3 separate, unique keys, and you store them in totally different secure locations. Now, to move any funds, you need any 2 of those 3 keys. And this is just brilliant because it protects you from both theft and accidental loss. A thief who only finds 1 key can't do anything with it. And if you happen to lose one, no big deal. You can still access your funds with the other 2.
So, let's just put it all together. This table breaks it down perfectly. A hardware wallet is great for most people, but that backup seed phrase, that's a single point of failure. An air-gapped computer ramps up the security for sure, but the computer itself could be a failure point. And then there's multisig. It's definitely the most complex, but it's the only one here that's truly designed to get rid of those single points of failure. Okay, look, getting your setup done is a massive win, but you're not done. Not even close. Real security isn't something you do once and forget about. It's an ongoing discipline. So let's talk about the habits you need to build for the long haul.
Listen up, because your security doesn't start when you turn the device on. It starts the second you decide to buy one. Rule number 1, always, always buy directly from the manufacturer. Never from Amazon, never from eBay. When it arrives, inspect that package like you're a detective. Look for any signs of tampering. And when you set it up, do it in a private, trusted space. These first steps are the foundation for everything else.
All right, now I need you to lean in for this one. If you only take away one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Never, ever create a digital copy of your seed phrase. Don't type it into your Notes app. Don't take a picture of it. Don't you dare save it in a password manager. The moment that phrase touches any device that's connected to the internet, you have completely defeated the entire purpose of having offline storage.
I mean, it really is that simple. That list of 12 or 24 words is the master key to everything. Protecting it isn't just one of your jobs as a crypto owner. It is your single most important job, period.
Look, this is a long-term commitment. You need to build good habits. Once a year, do a recovery drill to make sure your backup actually works. Store your backups in fireproof safes in different physical locations. Keep your device firmware updated, but only download it from the official source. And, this one's huge, create a clear inheritance plan so your assets aren't lost if something happens to you.
So here's the big idea I want you to walk away with. Setting up your wallet, that's the event. But security, that's the process. It's a discipline. It's a mindset you have to practice consistently if you want to protect your assets for years or even decades to come.
And that leaves us with one final question, a big one that you really need to ask yourself. It's not about being secure today. It's about being secure tomorrow, next year, and 10 years from now. So is your security plan truly built to last a lifetime?